I'm just trying to start like a stream of talking, so I'm kind of get warmed up a bit. And if I get anything for a cold open as well.
It's always good to have a cold open.
I don't like having a cold open. I like a bit of a tepid open. Like I think the last podcast had a bit of a tepid open.
Tepid is probably the word that can best describe our content in general.
Oh, yeah. Happy holidays and welcome to episode 19 of the MisanthroPod. I'm Snipe and I'm joined by Wib. Say hello.
Hello.
And I'm joined by Matt. Oh wait, Drummer Matt isn't here.
Yeah, he's still not here.
No, it was actually okay. So real talk, guys. This is my fault because I was going to bed the other night and I didn't shut the living room door. He got into the bathroom bin and he ate all of my dental floss and now he's at the vet. So he might be gone a while. Yeah,
and honestly, all the talk that he did last time about being out of the country, that was actually all a ruse.
Yeah, really, because what we've done, we have an audio file of what we would play on the off chance that he gets into the bin and eats all of our waste products. Or anything random happens, because he's, let's be honest, he's always digging through the bins eating stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So we kind of had that as an insurance policy, and it's very lucky that we did.
Yeah.
Because he's in the vets right now, getting operated on, getting all that delicious dental floss removed from his stomach.
To be fair, it's mostly just the vet just standing, facing his bare arse, just pulling the dental floss out.
Yeah, but you've got to do it slowly. You can't do it like you're starting a fucking pull mower.
Well, no. Because,
not after last time.
Yeah, and Dicko learned his lesson with the anal beads, so...
Oh, I think that was fine, but I think the fact that he put his foot on that person's butt cheek to properly just yank
to get purchase.
Yeah, I think that's what really did it, because that was a bit offensive, but whatever. We're not here to talk about Dicko, we're here to wish Matt well, because...
And hope that his body is free of dental floss by the next time we see him.
See, the vet did say that if they don't get... Because he ate clumps of my hair as well.
Oh, did he eat any chocolate? Because that's pretty bad for him.
I don't know. I don't think there's any chocolate in the bathroom bin. But, I mean, who knows, right? It's a fucking bathroom bin. That thing's like this mysterious, basket of just into the ether.
Anything can happen
there.
There's a portal to an eldritch dimension.
It's literally the warp in our bathroom bin. But yeah, and so they said that if they couldn't get it out, they'd have to amputate his butt. And I've already signed the forms, and I've said, look, I don't care what it costs, provided it costs less than £50, make this man well again.
Money is no object up to £50.
Yeah, that's his Christmas present for the next 47 years.
What, no ass?
Yeah.
We should probably get onto the real content.
No, I'm just so worried about Drummer, man. I can't help but cry.
That was a nervous laugh to hide the tears.
I'm just so emotional right now. But my dear friend Drummer Matt's ass. Right, so 2016 has been a pretty rocky year. Let's be honest.
I think most people can agree that whatever position you hold, there's been some dumb stuff happen this year.
There's been some dumb, horrible shit. And we haven't acknowledged them, not because we don't think they're worth acknowledging, but mainly because we want to be escapism and hopefully entertaining and take everyone's mind off that.
And take our minds off it.
Take our minds off it as well. So, that being said, this year was pretty decent for video games.
Yeah, honestly.
Surprisingly decent for video games,
because
actually.
I think last year was alright too, but then we had a few years before that there was just this slew of just really half-assed shitty games coming out.
Pushed out the door, half-baked.
Whereas, though that still happened, there's just been, a lot of games that I've just played through and I've just been like, yeah, fucking yeah. Which you don't always get, so that's been nice.
No, it's true.
So what we're going to do today is we're going to go through all of the games we've actually played this year that have come out this year, and sort of talk about them, because some of them we've talked about on the podcast before, and we won't dwell on those too much, but some of them we haven't really talked about, and we'll also be handing out our completely real
And very prestigious.
Very prestigious awards for each game.
Absolutely. Play at home. You can't play at home, but enjoy at home.
And, you know, the developers and publishers, if they want, they can put these awards on the box art. If they want, for their Game of the Year editions.
For certain.
I'll provide them with a high-res bitmap version of an award picture.
That's pretty sophisticated, if you ask me.
I mean, you know, some people might ask for PNGs or some other kind of format, but bitmaps where it's at.
Bitmaps. They've got a P in there because it's prestigious.
Yeah, that's why it is. It's bloody magnificent prestige.
That's what it means. That's why we will only ever do things in BMP format.
Yeah. Little known fact, all of the title cards are all in bitmaps.
Oh, God. Also, we won't be talking about early access games because, well, they're not finished. So
although
it seems a bit pointless to...
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, the line between early access and released game is a little bit vague these days, but...
well, I want... No.
But we won't get into that.
Let's not get into that.
So how about we get into the very first game? It was actually, I think it was one of the first videos we made this year.
Oh, okay.
Which was... What's Under Your Blanket?
Oh, I forgot that. I forgot all about that one.
Yeah, that was a game by a developer calling himself Five Wolf. Presumably better than Four Wolf or even Three Wolf.
Werewolf.
It's there. They made the game. It's on Steam.
Their Wolf.
Their Wolf.
Their Wolf. Yeah. That's why people tune in, for the regurgitated, badly retold jokes from old Mel Brooks movies.
Yep.
That's why people are here.
But yeah, that was the game that you had to masturbate and not get caught.
It was a bit like a clicker game, where a floating, disembodied head would occasionally open your door, stare coldly at you, disappear, leaving for you to stand up with your hand on your wangle, waddle over to the door and close it before skulking back to bed to resume wanking. Yeah, which, quite frankly, I would feel that after like your grandma and your parents doing that about 8 times, you probably have a bit of a hard go.
Yeah, you kind of lose your stride.
You just be
so
like,
easily.
you know what, I'm just not in the fucking mood anymore. I just don't fancy it.
Especially,
but I mean, that's just me. I mean, you know, I can't say that would be everyone's personal experience.
I mean, I guess if you get off on the nearly getting caught thing, then you know.
The danger wank.
Yes, if you get off on the danger wank approach.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, a danger wank is when you start fapping and call for your mum, and then you got to finish before she shows up.
Which is...
It's a fucking fantastically horrible thing.
But yeah, it was alright for what it was.
It was just a the penis and doing the faps, and if you click, because every time you click, I'm guessing that's a stroke.
I would assume so.
And you do it too fast, you catch fire, and the firemen burst in, and that's it, you're busted. As
someone who was a teenage boy, I can absolutely confirm that this is a real thing that can happen.
Well, yeah, to Pinocchio, maybe. Fuck's sake. But whatever, there had to be a fail-safe somewhere, I guess.
It's why you don't wank near kindling.
It's why you don't wank with kindling.
Well, yeah.
Apart from all the splinters.
But yeah, so I think that if we are to award What's Under Your Blanket...
I think it deserves an award.
If we are to give it an award, then it should be given, especially given the season...
Oh, absolutely.
It should be given the Best Wank Under a Christmas Tree award.
Oh, no, that's a very prestigious
because of its
award.
moving scene where you wank under a Christmas tree and have to try and not have it fall on you.
Spoiler alert for people at home.
Oh yeah, it's
deep lore.
It's deep lore. It's a beautiful scene.
I was moved, very moved. I'm not often moved by video games about wanking, but this one just got me.
It brought you to tears.
Tear in my eye. It was terrible.
There's a tear in his eye too.
Oh, why?
Moving on. Next up. Now these are in. They're in a vague order, mostly the kind of order we played them, so it's not necessarily the order in which they came out. Although most of them may be roughly that. The next one is Super Hot.
Super Hot.
Which was made by the very imaginatively named Super Hot team.
Now this one was actually really cool.
Yeah, Super Hot was cool. Did you ever play the early demo version of it that they put out? It was
No.
because you know how you can make Unity run in a web browser?
Yes.
That's how I first played it, I think it was like mid-2015 maybe?
Alright, you hipster.
Oh no, I was late to the party. But yeah, they put it out like that, and it was the same basic thing, not quite as polished. But yeah, the whole thing of you move and time moves with you, but it's nearly standstill when you're standing still, and this kind of almost turn-based approach to like moving around things.
I thought it was magnificently refreshing. And I like the visuals too, because I don't think a lot of devs understand, especially indie devs, it's like, work with what you've got. Like, if you've got like a 3-man team, don't sit there and go, I want to make something that looks like fucking Far Cry 4. Like, you can't do it. You absolutely can't make something like, you can't make a sandbox that detailed, you can't make models that good, then just play to your strengths.
And of course, if you make things relatively simple, then you can concentrate more on gameplay.
Exactly, which I don't know if that's what they did, but the gameplay is damn solid.
Yeah, I mean it is the most innovative shooter I've played in years.
Oh, absolutely! It's the most innovative shooter I've played in years.
Yeah.
In years.
In years.
Years.
It's sort of banked on the fact that that people would get the phrase "super hot" stuck in their head.
Oh, it was. Yeah, you get it stuck in your head for days.
Although I will say it did disappoint me that when you beat a level. Because if you're not aware at home, I presume you are, since this was a fairly famous game. But yeah, when you beat a level, because obviously it's time only moves when you move, so you're ducking. So you're ducking in and out of bullets fired at you, throwing things at enemies and stealing their guns out of their hands.
All that cool Matrix shit.
Yeah, and at the end of the level, when you beat it, it shows you what happened in real time. The problem is, it's got text saying super hot over it the whole time, and what I'd really like to see is, I'd just like to see that in its entirety without all the text and flashiness over it. I'd just like to see how it would look in real time.
Because right.
That's my only real complaint about it. I mean, I know it's quite short, but I think the conceit would start getting really old if it have ran over anymore, to be honest.
Yeah.
What award shall we give to Super Hot?
I would say we should give it the award for Best Super Hot and the most innovative shooter I've played in years.
That's it. It should get the most innovative shooter we've played in years
it's
award.
It's the most innovative shooter we've played in years.
Yeah, there we go.
And that's the award it should get.
Yeah, okay, that's great.
Of course, who could forget Panther Medals, the tank dating simulator by DevGru-P.
That is, who could forget it? I sometimes try to.
I honestly, it's very easy to forget, mainly because they really didn't run with it as far as they should have done. For those who aren't aware, this tank dating sim, surprisingly, is dating tanks, but the tanks look like cute anime girls. It's kind of like a traditional dating game kind of thing, but anime style, and cute anime girls who are all actual tanks. Like there's one of them's like a tiger tank, or there's a Sherman tank, and they joke about her always breaking down and not like there's like, oh, the Russian and the German don't get on, and it's like there's a couple of tasteless jokes in there, but I just think it's because maybe they aren't good at comedy. I'm not going to take it personal. I just But I think they really should have just gone nuts with it. Have had actual fucking tanks.
Yeah, I think that was
not cute anime girls. Give me a proper fucking Sherman tank. And make it blush and call me senpai.
Yeah, I think that was the big flaw in it. Of the if you haven't seen the game, or if you haven't seen our video that we did on it, the tanks are literally just schoolgirls, but they're not like schoolgirls that turn into tanks like Transformers, or like even styled really after the tanks. They're just really named after them, and then they give them arbitrary characteristics based on how people perceive the tank.
And they refer to their uniforms as armor, because apparently their uniform is armored, proper like sailor suit kind of stuff.
Yeah, but that's the weird thing, because they refer to them as if they are tanks, as if they are these physical machines. Like they refer to them having gun turrets and things, but you're looking at them and they just don't. And
they go in for repairs and like tune-ups, and it's like, okay, I have not seen anything mechanical on you, but what? I mean, there's no visual shorthand for anything. It's literally they are just anime schoolgirls.
Yeah, I think
which is like such a missed opportunity.
I think that was my biggest problem with it. Yeah, it just missed all the opportunities to make something a lot funnier
Yeah.
than it could have been.
I guess that's really all we can say
Yeah,
about it. I
yeah,
mean,
really.
what award do you think we should have?
Least amount of actual tanks in a game about tanks award.
That's a good award. Let's give that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so they win the least amount of tanks in a game actually about tanks award. I hope they wear that
With pride.
with pride. The next one, Battlefleet Gothic Armada by Tindalos Interactive. Fucking fantastic dev name, by the way.
What, just because it's named after an obscure monster from the Cthulhu mythos?
My favourite monster, yes.
The
but
Hounds of Tindalos?
the Hounds of Tindalos, they are fucking amazing. But anyway, we're going to talk about Battlefleet Gothic Armada.
Ah, yes.
Which I cannot get on with because I'm really not very good at those games.
Yeah,
I really wish I could get into it because it looks like it's really well done.
absolutely.
But I just don't like those games and it drives me nuts.
Yeah, it's a funny thing because we put a video about it when it first came out, and I stated in it that I found the game, I enjoyed it, but I found it very confusing. Now, I would like to state on record here, because a few people seemed to misinterpret what I said there. When I said the game was confusing, I meant mechanically. I do in fact understand the storyline of the Battlefleet Gothic board game, and all about the Black Crusade and stuff. I do in fact understand about that. That's not what I'm talking about. I mean that mechanically there is a lot going on in it, and it's a little overwhelming at times.
I would say, especially someone coming in with even less experience than you, it is viciously overwhelming and terrifying. So, yeah, a lot of people seem to really, really like it, and I'm really happy that like a 40k game came out and people were really happy with it.
It's always nice.
That really makes me happy. Because that's not always something you can take for granted.
No, it is not.
So
we will get to that later.
Oh, we will. But I'm glad it seems so good. It's kind of annoying how I just cannot get on with that game type.
Yeah, I keep meaning to go back to it because I kind of, when I played through like the intro missions a second time off camera, as it were, I kind of understood it a lot better. I mean, it's still...
Well, I think people probably forget that when we're doing a video on it, we are paying half attention to the game.
And trying desperately to be funny and entertaining. Which
Yeah,
you don't understand how difficult that is for us. We're not funny or entertaining.
Exactly, which is why we have to try so fucking hard.
Actually, one thing I do want to mention is that I really, really like the way they characterize the orcs in it. Like, all doing their kind of pirate sea shanties in space. And just like there's a marvellous thing early on where it pans through an orc ship and just the mayhem going on inside.
Explosions, grots falling out of things.
It just looks really, really cool, and I do really appreciate that. That was
I would
was
say
nice.
They definitely got it.
Oh yeah, and I did
And
also.
that is another thing you can't really take for granted when it comes to 40k. So massive thumbs up there.
I also like that because you were dealing with the Imperial Navy rather than Space Marines or Inquisitors or anything, although they were in it. Mm-hmm. But your character you were playing in the single player was just a random Imperial Navy captain who gets promoted to like an admiral, I believe.
Spoilers.
I might be misremembering because this was a while ago that I played it last.
And then he meets number one Riker, and they go on super adventures across the galaxy.
Maybe not, but I did like how it dealt with a smaller focus on a person being inside the huge Imperial war machine. And how it's so easy to get lost in that huge thing because it's so much bigger than that one guy.
Yeah.
Which is something that often 40k fiction...
The scope is lost.
The scope is kind of forgotten because usually you're playing like a Space Marine who, even if their actions are not inherently important, it makes it feel important because they are these kind of superhuman...
Larger than life, amazing
characters.
Heroes, yeah. No, I think that they played the, at least from what I saw, they played, playing a quote-unquote normie in the 41st millennium seemed to be done quite well.
So what award shall we give to Battlefleet Gothic Armada?
How about I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing, but I'm sure if I knew, I'd be happy about it.
Award.
Award.
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
I think that's a good award.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, up next we have one that I won't talk much about,
No, because we've spoken at length on the podcast before about this.
which is Dark Souls 3.
By, of course, From Software.
I fucking love Dark Souls 3.
And the DLC.
And-
The DLC came out, which is short, but quite fun.
Well, unfortunately, you might know, because one of the reasons why, aside from Matt being at the vet, I was about to
Being at the vet.
I was about to say out the country, but no, we've dropped the facade now. He's at the vet.
We don't have to lie anymore.
Because of him being away, is not the only reason why this podcast is a bit later than we originally planned. We also had our graphics card explode horribly.
Because those of you remember from the last podcast, I started shouting and carrying on and being angry about the graphics card. Apparently it fucking heard me.
Yeah, that actually died, and so we were, our schedule was completely thrown off, and that's one of the reasons why the podcast is late. And we ended up having to completely reformat our machine, and everything's backed up, and so it wasn't a big deal. The one thing I forgot to back up was Dark Souls 3's save files, because it's one of the few games that doesn't have Steam Cloud enabled. So I had not beaten the DLC. I'd been dragging my feet about it. So not only have I got to go and do everything I'd already done in the DLC, I've got to beat the entirety of Dark Souls 3 again to get there. Well, not the entirety, but most of it to get there again. I don't mind so much, because I like Dark Souls 3, but it's still a lot of... It's intimidating to sit there and go, okay, even if you rush this, you've got about 20 hours worth of work to get to the part you want to do.
No, honestly, that's fucked. And I'm sorry for your loss. Like, genuinely, I am sorry for your loss. R.I.P. Matt's game saves. Because holy shit.
Yeah, Dark Souls 3 is still fantastic. I totally recommend anyone who, for whatever reason, has been living under a rock and hasn't tried it, should totally try it out. Mm-hmm. I just go back and listen to about 4 of the old podcasts where I
just back to back, it'll literally just be you screaming about how much you've got mad bonus for Dark Souls 3.
Where I just get on my knees and just fillet Dark Souls 3 at length.
Yeah, I tried to clean up the audio with that, and it still sounds terrible. I'm sorry. It's just slurping and just lip smacking. It's awful.
So I guess Dark Souls 3 will get the "I'm sorry for talking about it so much" award.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. So next up is Deadly Tower of Monsters by Ace Team, and I cannot remember a fucking thing about this game.
Oh, well, Ace Team are the guys that made Xenoclash. And Deadly Tower of Monsters was that game that was set as if it was like a 1950s sci-fi.
Oh!
And it was like with a developer commentary.
Now I remember. Okay, that was actually like, I loved the concept for that.
Yeah, that was a fun. As I was just to explain to the people at home, Deadly Tower Monsters was a game that was essentially an old school B movie. It was in colour and was not at 4:3 resolution, and part of me really wish it was, because that would really add to the authenticity.
Yeah, but that's like kind of like there's a few games like Her Story, and there's I think Pony Island where it has like a CRT filter that can just make you feel sick.
Well, okay, yeah, there is that. But anyway, it's designed like an old B movie, and throughout the whole thing, you've got I think it's the director, in big air quotes, director, talking to you as if it's a DVD commentary. So it's like it's a DVD commentarium up.
It sounds weird, but it's actually quite charming.
Yeah. It's a game trying to be funny, and I think if you're someone like me, then you're going to find it a lot funnier, because I like old monster movies and old sci-fi. So there's a lot of jokes in there, like subtle things, like how the monsters that you fight that are like octopuses, you can see their legs poking out the bottom, like Gazora, who's an old octopus monster from Toho. Like those little things, I really appreciate that kind of stuff.
I guess it really does show kind of the care and attention and the love put into it.
Oh, yeah.
And the love of old, crappy, like, creature features and stuff like that, where everything's a bit crap, because that's the way those old movies were. You'd see strings, you'd see the back of the guy's suit come undone, and, like, there's little nods to it, and it's really sweet. And I can't believe I forgot all about it, and I feel like such a prick.
So I think what we should do is...
Best game I ever forgot about. Oh, this one. No one's... I've barely spoken about this game at all. It's our friend Alpha Boost's favourite game.
Oh, yes.
As well. Overwatch by Blizzard.
Yes. I don't know if you guys have heard about it.
It's pretty new, and it's fucking amazing. Has microtransactions, which is the biggest negative, but they've actually been putting a lot of stuff into it lately, and they've been having a lot of events, and it's maybe just about worth its price tag.
Yeah. I guess the simple the simple thing with this is a bit like Dark Souls 3, and if you want to hear any more information or
listen
viewpoints,
to the last 18 podcasts, and I'll be talking about it, don't worry.
Just pick a podcast at random and we'll probably mention it at some point. Oh, we'll briefly mention that the winter holiday thing is on right now.
Yes, the winter holiday event is on right now, and it's very nice. Speaking of someone who fucking hates Christmas, I kind of like this event, and it makes me mad that I like it so much.
It's been quite fun. Also, I've been having great fun because the very first winter crate we got the Torbjorn dressed as Santa.
Yes.
And combined with the emote where he looks like he's trying to fight everyone, I've been going around servers demanding that everyone fight me, I'm Santa.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
I'm aware it's not funny, but the fact it's so unfunny makes it funnier to me, and really amusing myself is all that matters at this point.
Are you kidding? I've been playing Anna lately, and I've been tranking people. One specific instance of this. I tranked a 76, I went up to him and did the drop candy emote, which you got from the Halloween event, onto his face, and said, "Have some grandma candy," and then let him live. I've been doing that. People get confused.
I can imagine.
But that's just the wonders of Overwatch. And, well, we talk about that all the fucking time anyway. Also, they released the comic. Like, this last thing, honestly. They released the comic, Reflections, which was kind of showing the, a bunch of the Overwatch folks, like, what they're doing at Christmas. And Trace has come out as LGBT.
Which, that's
cool. I think that's really wonderful. It's won't harp on about it because I'm sure everyone's got an opinion, but I think that's really positive, and I think that's fantastic.
I think it was done in a very good way. That no matter what some people on certain forums might insist, it wasn't forced down your throat,
and it wasn't gals being pals,
and it wasn't fetishized. It was just a thing, and I think that's a good way of going about it.
I think that was lovely. I think Overwatch should get the Shrink-Wrapped Arses Award for having an absolutely fantastic collection of arses, male and female, for everyone to enjoy.
That have all been shrink-wrapped for freshness.
Yes, you look on some of those models, ho dang.
Okay, up next we have Assault and Sanctuary.
Oh, the side-scrolling 2D Dark Souls kind of game.
You see,
by Scar Studios.
Yeah, normally I would try and describe it in more depth, but just calling it a side-scrolling Dark Souls is basically it.
I feel that's being a bit cheap because they've obviously put a lot of effort in, but that's how I can summarise.
And I think it's safe to say that their inspirations are fairly blatant.
They're definitely wearing their inspirations on their sleeve, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I like the idea of Dark Souls as a genre.
Oh, absolutely.
I want to see, different takes on it. I want to see side-scrollers on it. I think that's really, really quite good.
Yeah, I mean, there's that game, I think it's called, is it Dark Mouse?
Dark Mouse, yes. It's basically Dark Souls, but you're a mouse.
And it's top-down.
Top-down, yeah.
That might be the wrong name. I've not played it.
It's about a fucking mouse or something, but yeah.
With very stark visuals. Assault and Sanctuary, it's quite good. I'm not very good at it. I think the removal of the extra dimension and it coming over a bit more Castlevania-y, there are issues with using more standardized Souls design in that. I think it does provide certain flaws, but though I don't particularly like to judge a product by what's going off in the background more than the product that's in front of you, because ultimately, people at the end, people are buying this thing, and what's gone on the dev end is sort of irrelevant. Really.
No, I understand.
But I do have a bit of a soft spot for the game solely because it is made by two people who are a married couple who are called Scar Studios, and as someone that does, or makes creative things, be it music or this podcast or the YouTube channel, with their wife.
Yeah, you kind of stuck with me.
And and that band was a ska band, I can't help but have a little bit of a soft spot for them for that reason. It's entirely not based on the game at all.
I share that.
Yeah.
But no, I think for two people pulling something like that off, I think is very impressive.
It's heroic, bordering on suicidal to even attempt it.
Fucking A, yeah, but no. This should get the award. The Sodden with Tears Packet of Salt Award.
Sure.
Yeah,
sure,
that's a good award.
That.
Let's do that. Right, the next one is Headlander by Double Fine. Now, this one's pretty fun. Pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's...
You've got to use your head to get through those puzzles.
You do indeed.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen the game, the way it works is you are a human who doesn't have a body anymore, because apparently humans don't have bodies anymore. They're just disembodied heads.
Yeah, I think it's probably just a send-up of the whole, like, cut off your head and freeze it so that in the future they might have a cure for not having a body.
Yeah, which is often a rumour going around that went around about Walt Disney, but apparently that's not actually true.
Yeah, I heard that was false, but apparently that was a bit of a fad.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like silly 60s idea of the future, like in the distant future of 2009.
I want to say it's more 70s because of all the brown.
Actually, yeah, that's more accurate. I'm bad with like decades.
Yeah,
so
it's fine.
Shut up.
But yeah, it reminds me a lot of games sort of like Abe's Odyssey in a way, like where it's technically kind of a side-scrolling platformer type thing, but there's a certain methodicalness about what you have to do. I think the game's like Flashback almost. I mean, it's not quite to that extent, but it reminds me of those sort of games.
There's definitely a bit of a twang there.
Kind of an action, like an old school adventure game, but more actiony.
Yeah.
And your head, because you don't have a body, you attach your body to your head to different bodies, so you can rip people's heads off and put your head on it.
And when we say people, we mean robots.
Well, robots,
like,
yeah.
the distant space future of 2007 or whatever it is seems to be inhabited solely by robots, which you just go and yank the head off and steal their body, which implications unpleasant, let's be honest. It's like, the fucking implications of that are horrifying.
They really are.
It's lucky it's a silly comedy game.
Because otherwise you'd sit there and you go, I have literally just stolen all these people's bodies, including sentient vacuum cleaners.
Yeah, that's a thing you can also put your head on and control.
You can just be a vacuum cleaner.
Because that's how you get through vents.
Yeah, honestly...
You can also be signs.
Honestly, I think most of the game exists solely just to make jokes about getting head.
I think this should get the Head and Shoulders Above the Rest award.
Okay.
Okay? That's all I got. I could be here for hours, and that'd be the best one.
You know what? That's as good as we're getting. Let's move on.
Okay.
Time waits for no man.
Okay. Now this one's fun. Pokemon Go by Niantic.
Yes. The game that was, I think it's safe to say, the one of the very, very few games that became, at least for a very short amount of time, an actual cultural phenomenon.
For about a month.
I mean,
which is still fucking impressive, let's be honest.
I mean, we talked about it quite a bit on the on previous podcasts again, especially when it first came out, because we were recording an album around the time it came out.
Yeah, like the week after it came out, we were recording in Huddersfield.
Well, it was the week it came out in the UK. We were in Huddersfield.
Well,
but
yeah.
you'd done the thing, so you got it a week earlier.
I'd gotten it earlier, which I should not have done, but I did. But fuck it. It was barely functional. I could barely play a damn thing, so whatever.
But,
and to be fair, it was like that for a fucking good while.
Yeah.
And it's actually starting to dip again. Because it's just got loads of weird bugs. Like the weird vibration bug. Like you'll go out walking and it'll just keep buzzing you and going, hey, there's a Pokemon nearby, and there's nothing there. They have fixed that today.
Oh,
they
good.
still haven't fixed because when I'm going out, and I'm pretty sure that I'm not weird when I do this. When I go out, I'll put my music on my phone. I'll put my headphones in. Yeah, like you open Pokemon Go, it like quarters your music. Like it turns it down, and you can put it on max and you can just about hear it. It's fucking irritating, and they won't fix it. I would rather that fix than the random vibration bug, but whatever. They're adding new Pokemon. They've added new I think Gen 2 or something, like Togepi and Pichu, and the precursor to Jigglypuff in like the eggs. You can't catch them, but you get them in the eggs. And like they've got a Pikachu who's got a hat, like a little Santa hat, which you ran out at like 4 a.m. to get for me while I was playing Overwatch. Which I'm very grateful. But it's just a stupid hat. It doesn't mean anything.
But yeah, so yeah, Pokemon Go. It was lovely to see an actual genuine, like a video game actually bringing people together in the real world. Like seeing groups of people walking around the park, helping each, like telling people, like telling each other where to find things.
Or like coming up and going, "Hey, have you seen that Eevee?" And then you going, "Yeah, mate, there's an Eevee up there." Or like, just like you walk through the park or whatever, and you see people on the phone, and you go, "I know what you're doing."
Yeah.
And they kind of look up from their phone, and you kind of both you share that respectful nod, like, "Yeah, man, yeah."
Yeah,
and then you just keep about your business.
There was just something really nice about that you don't see very often. Like it was a nice way to break the ice, and make people not be quite so uptight with each other all the time. As is speaking like in Britain, where a stranger speaking to you on the street is honestly going to ruin your day. Like you're just like, I don't want this. I don't want this. I just want to go home. I mean, I'm sure most places are like that, but maybe it's because Britain is like half people who are misanthropic curmudgeons, and the other half are ludicrously friendly, who will speak to you at the bus stop, and you're just sitting there going like, I just want to catch the bus.
Honest
Please leave
to
me
God,
alone.
no one ever dared speak to me at the bus stop.
Well, that's because you have how can I put this politely?
Resting murder face.
Yeah, when you are relaxed, your face sets into a visage of potential murderous rage, I could probably put it.
You see, like, one of my best friends, Ash, like, we went to college together, and we would catch the bus at the same bus stop. And he didn't speak to me for years. Because he'd see me, like, first thing in the morning, black bags under my eyes, staring out into the middle distance with a fag hanging out of my mouth. Never speaking or saying anything to anyone. He was apparently terrified of me. He wouldn't fucking approach me.
And eventually you did.
And eventually he did, and he was like, "Oh, dude, I thought you were a fucking psycho." I was like, "Oh, okay, what?" He was like, "No, mate, it just like you fucking skinned me alive." It's like, "Well, no, I was just trying to relax."
And then I was sitting there and going, "Yeah, I've seen what her relaxed morning face looks like. I don't blame you."
So yeah, murder faces aside.
So what award shall we give to Pokemon Go, the very, very flawed but I feel important game of the year? Maybe it should get the "you made me go out at 3 a.m. in the morning to catch a Pikachu in a hat" award.
Bastards award.
Yeah.
No, that's accurate. Yeah, let's give them that.
The "you bastards" on the end is important.
Yes,
that's an important one.
It's just not the same award without it.
The next one on the docket is Owlboy by D-Pad Studio.
This one is quite sweet.
Yes.
I can't help but like this one. I can't play it, but beautiful sprite work. It's kind of like it's like a Metroidvania kind of game, but like way cuter. Because your little owl boy, Otis, because it's spelled differently, and he's an owl boy, and like his friends are power-ups.
Yeah.
And like the sprite work in it is fucking beautiful.
It's one of those games that I've been meaning to go back to after we did the recording session for it. To carry on playing it. It's just I haven't found the time with the holidays and all.
Oh yeah. Apparently it took years and years to develop.
That does not surprise me. It shows, honestly.
It's honestly, the gameplay is simple, to the point, and I kind of appreciate that, to be fair. And, oh god, I just can't get over how gorgeous the sprite work is, because it is fucking immaculate.
The worst part is, like, at the very start, I don't know if this eases up as you go through the game, but, like, your, like, mentor, who I forget the name of offhand, is just a complete dick to you. Like, you're trying your hardest, like, you know, at the start of the game you have all, like, the tutorial things, and it's kind of framed by it's your training to be...
an owlman.
An owlman. And as you're going through it, like you fuck things up because it's like predestined for you to fuck things up. Like you pick up like a big like ceramic pot of water, and then you drop it and it shatters. or you're trying to fly up to a high point and you can't quite make it, and you're just being told, you are shit, you are the worst, what the fuck is wrong with you? And you just sit there going like...
You're sitting there going, look, I don't want a childhood simulator, okay? I want some escapism here.
Yeah, it's a bit of a grim opening, it has to be said.
But then you meet, like, I wish I could remember his name, like your friend, who does, like, sweet little dances.
Oh shit, yeah, I can't remember his name.
He's like a member of the guard, and he's like, yeah, Otis, because Otis is a mute, so he can't defend himself, poor thing. And he's still got buddies, and his buddy's like, yeah, dude, and like, that really alleviates the horrors of your mentor being a complete douche at you.
I do think if it does have a problem, it's that it's probably a little wordy at times. They could probably, like, sometimes they'll say something in like 5 text boxes that they could say in 2.
No, I'll say that's fair. That's a fair criticism.
But for you know, an indie kind of platformer, and that's a fairly minor complaint.
Oh yeah, it's incredibly polished.
And obviously, that's from only having played like the first hour or so of it.
Yeah.
But do mean to go back because it does look fantastic, and I've heard generally favourable things about it. And so, what shall we give that?
I think we should give it the "Quit reminding me of my painfully unhappy childhood" award.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good award.
Yeah, that's a good award, and we should carry on without dwelling on that.
Yes, okay, next one on the list is Doom by id. This fucking game. Mad boners all day. Boners for days.
Yep.
About this game. I have gone on and on and on about it.
Yeah, we talked about Doom quite a bit on the podcast as well.
Yeah, I really, like, all like silliness aside, I think this game is phenomenal. I have gone on about length at how much I love it.
Yeah, I've actually played a fair bit of it now.
Yeah. Well, how are you finding it?
You
aren't me.
Yeah, I love it. It's fantastic. It does have... I mean, it's not perfect, you know.
Oh, absolutely not. There's, like, the loading times is fucked. The fact that it really only optimised for GeForce cards, which is a fucking schoolboy mistake.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking hell, id. That's bullshit. Because we had an ATI card, and it was just not set up for ATI cards at all. It only really worked with GeForce cards, which is why, yeah, we had to get our GeForce card, and then we could stream it, and we could record it and do a video on it, which is fucking stupid. No, can hardly recommend.
It is, to me, it is the best adaptation of brutal Doom into a AAA game that I think could possibly be made.
I think that's pretty cool.
And even, just again, there's old podcasts where we talk about it a lot.
Oh, yeah. So, the award for this one. What prestigious award shall we grace upon Doom for?
How about? I mean, we could go obvious and give it the Rip and Tear.
The Rip and Tear award, or we could go like, I don't know. We could also give it the Here Comes the Night Train award.
Yeah, I think that one.
I think that's a good award.
Let's go with the Here Comes the Night Train award.
Here comes the
or
Night
possibly the Huge Guts award.
The Huge Gut. Ooh, should we give it 2?
Yeah, it gets 2 actually. Yeah, Doom can have as many awards as it wants.
Yeah, it can have those 2 awards. It's fine.
Yeah,
I'm not using them. This next one's fun.
This is one that we haven't acknowledged in any form before now because you've been saving it for a podcast.
I have been. My friend Josh directed me to this. Umapri by Usayako.
What the bloody piss is that?
Well, my dear Wiblet, that is a Japanese dating game on the mobile.
Okay.
It's quite interesting. It's standard as far as dating games go. It has kind of clicker elements of it. So what happens is you have a love heart bar at the top of your screen, and there will be things that appear on screen, like say carrots, and you have to click all of them, and that will fill up the bar, provided on how much energy your character has, which you have to speak to them. Every half hour you get 3 times you can speak to them. You still with me?
I think.
Okay, try and hold on. So you click on this thing, and they go, oh, your weight. And you have 3 options, and if you pick the right one, you get plus 30 energy, which is the maximum you can get.
What do you mean, oh, your weight?
That'll be the question they'll ask.
What, they ask you about your weight?
Yes, because it's fucking stupid.
Okay.
Some of the questions in this are a bit, hey, fuck you. But whatever. I'm sure it works for some people. Just made me angry.
Okay.
And then you have responses, yeah. So you go, oh, I lost weight, and that gives you plus 30 because that's a good thing. And then you have, like, the next one, which is, like, I can't remember. It's like, oh, I'm not eating cake or whatever, which is you get plus 15. And if you fuck it up and say something the guy doesn't agree with, then he goes, oh, I don't get... And it minuses you energy.
Would I be right in thinking that if you say that you've gained weight, then that's a bad answer?
Yeah, and he's sad and angry at you.
Okay.
So then you have to watch an advert, because this is a mobile game thing, to replenish it so you can go back and answer again.
Okay, I'm just going to say, this sounds like the exact opposite of that, was it Mystic Messenger?
Mystic Messenger, which was really body positive, actually.
Oh, did that come out this year?
I don't know. I don't know if it was localized this year. Shit, we probably should have checked.
Oh, well, we talked about Mystic Messenger on a previous podcast.
That was actually quite a good dating game, but whatever.
But yeah, that had a real body positivity spin on it. Like they were always trying to make sure that you weren't skipping meals, and
like, you need to eat. Like you just don't. Your body is perfect. I love you the way you are. Like really supportive, lovely stuff.
Yeah, this sounds like the exact opposite of that.
To be fair, this is like one or two of the annoying things in there. Like at one point, the guy does refer to he's like, "Oh, Snipe-chan, I love how obedient you are," and it's like, you want me to uninstall? Because this is how you fucking make me uninstall. But, again, it's just not for me. Now, I am going to show you a picture.
Is this the sort of picture that people who are listening to this would be able to look up on the Googles?
Oh, yes. Let me see. Okay. This is where, the start of the second act, which is actually pretty quick, you wake up and the guy's in your house making you breakfast.
Okay.
You have not given him permission to do this. It is just treated as, he's here, he's making me breakfast. How lovely. This is what you wake up to. Would you like to describe to listeners what you are seeing?
Okay. There is... Okay. Right. There is an anime boy...
a cute bishy.
A cute bishy boy. Now, his head is a bishy boy. His body is a horse.
Yes.
Now, I want to make this very abundantly clear. It is not a horse, like centaur type deal, where he's a man with a horse, like his lower half is a horse. No, I mean, it is a man's face on a horse's body.
And what is that horse body doing?
That horse is using chopsticks despite the fact he lacks thumbs.
To feed me green onions.
To feed you green onions. And saying open wide, which is something I never want to hear from anything that has a horse body.
Mm-hmm. So, Umapri, also known in the West as My Horse Prince.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is like the more horrifying version of Hatterful Boyfriend. Then.
Yes, but it's also very aware that it's a joke, and it doesn't try very hard.
Yeah.
Okay, so the story for this particular otome, is you quit your job in the city to go and meet hot boys. So you go to a ranch one day because, hey, hot boys like horses. And yeah, hot boys love horses.
I'm obviously not a hot boy because I'm kind of indifferent about horses.
No, you're a hot man. That's different.
Okay.
You like the races and whiskey.
I don't like either of those.
Don't you tell me that. I fucking married you.
Okay.
You like whiskey and you like betting on the ponies.
Okay.
But yeah, so you go there and there's like this really half-assed drawn guy who owns this horse, and you're like, wow. That horse is really hot, and then your character has like some kind of like horrifying, like they're trying to deal with the fact that they want to fuck a horse. They're like, that horse is really hot, but it's also a horse. And then the guy comes up and goes, hey, this is like your horse now. Basically some bullshit reason as to you are now this horse's owner. And he comes up and he's like, hey Snipe. I've got a picture of him coming up and flirting with me.
Yeah, so to find these pictures, what would people enter?
My Horse Prince in Google Images. That's all you need to do. That's him trying to convince me to be his owner. If you can see his hoof, he's basically doing the stereotypical kind of like Japanese like guy, hand on the wall next to the girl looking down at her and she's blushing. But his hoof is against the wall and it's cracked.
Which implies that it's almost like he's punched the wall next to her. There is an oddly threatening vibe to it.
Mm-hmm. So your character is trying to deal with the fact that she wants to fuck a boy-faced horse.
You know, oh shit, you know what this is?
What?
This is like a Bizarro Universe BoJack Horseman.
This is worse, but yeah. So you
There's
have...
less fucked up sexual
There's less
things
fucked up sexual
in
things
BoJack.
in here, yeah. So you have to basically train with him by picking up carrots and then you answer questions.
See, the carrots thing from earlier makes sense.
It makes sense now. He's also in a rock band called Horseman. He's the lead singer and lead guitarist.
But he's got no fingers!
That is one of the answers you can give, and it gives you negative things. So yeah, he's got, like, he actually sang a song about me, which was really beautiful, and all of his fans tried to kill me because they were like, but he's our boyfriend waifu. So, funny thing, when you first go and see this horse, you're like, wow, that horse is really hot. Can you believe, like, to the ranch owner, can you believe that this horse has a human face? And he's like, no, he doesn't. So everyone else apparently sees him as a normal horse.
Oh.
Yeah.
That
kind of makes it a bit darker.
I can't help but feel that maybe this ranch is actually like in Silent Hill or something.
It's like a horrifying Silent Hill sex ranch. It's not good.
Yeah. I'm going to reiterate what your friend said, and say that you do indeed need Jesus in your life.
No. They need Jesus. I'm fine. So, like, yeah.
You just need horse face.
I need horse
or boy face horse.
Well, not if he keeps asking me about my fucking weight and telling me I'm obedient. He can fuck right off. But yeah, so yeah, story progresses. Yeah, you go to town for some retail therapy. He's doing roadworks.
How?
With his hooves. It doesn't matter. He's realised that running a ranch is expensive, so he's trying to help you out financially.
This is the Powerpuff Girls all over again. They don't have thumbs.
But yeah, and then like in comes a challenger later. So there's a rival boy-faced horse who comes in as like,
it's just a fucking palette swap.
No, can't you see? He's got angry eyes. It's different.
Yeah, just everyone, do yourself a favour and just Google search this fucking game.
Because yeah, it's fucking crazy. It's obviously a joke because like they try and be a bit meta in the writing, but they're just not good enough to pull it off.
I mean, I'm assuming that this is actually Japanese originally.
It is, yes, and it was localized.
Yeah, because that can be a problem because when they translate humour, you've kind of got two options, which is either you translate it directly and then run the risk of the jokes not crossing the international punchline, or you translate it and try and localize it to make the jokes work in the area, but then they're not the original jokes, so they might not land as well. So, yeah, translating comedy's tough.
No, yeah, that's the thing. I can only really judge the localized version,
Yeah.
but it's like, yeah, some of them, like, the jokes don't miss. It's trying to be a bit meta, and it's like, I think it's worth it just for the fact that, you know, even just as an artist, I'm sitting here looking at these fucking lovingly detailed and coloured pictures going, someone had to fucking draw this.
Someone was paid to draw this boy-faced horse.
And speaking of someone who draws some weird shit, sometimes you do kind of stop halfway through and just kind of like, you let out a sigh and you look at the fucking sketch before you and you just kind of, you rub your face and you go, this is something I've fucking drawn. Fucking hell.
Yeah, every now and again, for me, it always goes back to one picture I drew many years ago. That I am always shocked and slightly, not appalled, because the drawings I've drawn that are truly appalling and horrifying, I'm proud of. Like the time I drew 8-bit Mario, but with a hot woman's body.
Oh, Mario had a great set of boobs.
That is the thing I did. You can look on my DeviantArt and find that.
NSFW.
Very NSFW, yes. But the picture that I always go back to in my mind is a picture I drew at the end. I believe it was at the end of like a sketch challenge thing where you had to draw something every day. And towards the end of that, obviously my mind went a bit weird. And there is a picture of me holding a gun saying, "We both knew it would end this way, Hannigan," while pointing at a scorpion also holding a gun who is floating in the air by a balloon. And then I wrote up a thing beneath it insinuating that this was the end of like a
grimdark buddy cop movie.
Yeah, a grimdark buddy cop kind of setup. And to this day, I'm not quite sure where that came from.
You've seen half the shit I've drawn, right?
Well, yeah, but
It comes straight from the fucking warp.
Well, yeah, but that's more of a you thing than a me thing.
Okay, I see how it is. That's fine.
Like when I need something horrifying drawn, like I'm like, oh, this title card needs drawing, and I think it needs something horrifying. Can you draw it?
What, you mean like the hyper-realistic bootleg Pikachu I drew?
Yes.
Yeah,
Wasn't that based on Tom Cruise?
It was, because I think his face is so fucking creepy. I was like, what's the creepiest face I could... Tom Cruise! I'll do it Pikachu Tom Cruise. And I'm waiting for them lawyers now.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. As long as you don't rip on Scientology, I think you're fine.
Anyway, that was my horse prince. I'm gonna give it a I don't want to fuck a horse award.
Possibly, can it have a secondary award of My Lovely Horse award?
Running through the field. Ain't no one getting that fucking reference.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, the last game we have to talk about today is one that we played, I guess, when this goes up, because I think this will be going up on Boxing Day.
Yeah, 26th of December.
Yeah.
Because, we're not allowed to fucking rest.
Never rest.
Ain't no rest for the wicked.
Money don't grow on trees.
I got bills to pay. I got mouths to feed. I got horses to fuck. It's a busy fucking life, let me tell you.
It really is. Fucking hell. But yeah, the last one is a game that we played. It would have been last week.
It would have been last
when
week.
you hear this. Although it was just a day or so ago for us now.
It feels like it was only yesterday.
Is Eternal Crusade.
Yes, by Behaviour Interactive.
Which is the Warhammer 40,000 game that has a bit of a checkered past.
Putting it mildly.
Yeah, so I'm going to go into this a little bit because we haven't talked about it at length. And it's a game that has a bit of a mixed reception about it. Like, it is literally mixed on Steam because this game was originally going to be, from what I understand, because I remember reading about it at the time.
I remember getting super hyped about it.
Yeah, of it being sort of an action MMO almost. I think, I'm trying to remember, there is a game that's sort of like that, and I completely forget the name of it. But basically, you'd fight over areas, but it'd be in a large, persistent world.
Wasn't it where, like, free players would play orcs?
Yeah, because it would have asymmetrical multiplayer, and so the orcs would have shit tons of boys because they're the free players, but I think, like, they're the knobs and like, war bosses and big
prestige
mechs.
Classes.
Those would be ones that paid accounts could have.
Yeah. Which I think is actually a very clever way of doing it, but that's not how it turned out. Yeah,
because eventually things kind of got scaled back, and it eventually came out in... I had like a closed alpha for people that had bought like Founders Packs, and it was just sort of an arena shooter at that sort of point, but like that's an early version, so you're like, okay, and it went through early access on Steam, and has actually come out as a full game now, although... There's more to that, which we'll get to in a bit.
We will get to that.
Yeah, so it's out of early access now, and it's still basically an arena shooter. I mean, it is very large maps. So, like, the simple way of describing it is it's sort of like Space Marines multiplayer, but on really big maps with the occasional vehicle and stuff.
Battlefield-esque.
Yeah, sort of like Battlefield. A few people have mentioned comparisons to, is it PlanetSide 2?
PlanetSide, I've heard,
which I haven't played, but apparently it's quite a lot like that. And... unfortunately, it's not very good.
No, I mean, there's a lot wrong with it. And there's a lot of potential there. And there's that horrible feeling of I really wanted to like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I can't.
Like
and that fucking annoys me.
Like, I mean, it's been published by Namco Bandai.
Which... fuck those guys, basically.
Yeah, they're not fantastic.
They have a fucking woeful track record. Okay, just... for the record, we're not having a go at Behaviour Interactive themselves because we are aware that it's most of the time the publisher being the dickhead. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the problems with Eternal Crusade are stemmed directly from the publisher.
Yeah, there is a lot of rumours that Namco Bandai got involved, and they're the reason why it got put out the door, and why the version that is currently as a full release is basically still... It should be an early access.
It should not be a full release,
Yeah.
if I'm honest. I mean, there's so many little issues. Like, I get, like, little model errors, like the weird one we found where, like, you got shot and he basically just his spine snapped to a 90-degree angle backwards.
And then I think what he was actually doing was spinning round, like
spinning around on his axis.
like so quickly that the frames couldn't keep up, so I was just seeing, like, every other one where it was just, like, completely, like, horizontal to his spine.
Yeah. I think, like, little things like that, I think they are, for the most part, pretty forgivable.
Yeah,
in a full release. When it's like basic gameplay problems, though, like the maps are just too large. They are fucking huge, and it's like
it just doesn't really feel like it uses them.
No, I don't think it uses them. The performance is dreadful. Like the optimization is awful.
Yeah.
It's we shouldn't be getting such crappy performance from that.
Yeah, especially considering that a lot of the models, like the scenery's not bad, if a bit generic, but the actual character models, most of them are fairly low detail.
They're
in
pretty
fairness.
Pretty low detail.
There's not much going on.
That, and it's like just from you can get a pretty good feel from this from just observing the firefights and the scrims where you won't be able to tell who a bad guy is. Now, I'm sure, like, Eldar versus Marines and whatever, yeah, but, like, Marine versus Marines, good fucking luck. And us playing versus Orcs, that was, even then, readability was quite muddy.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just, there's something about the way like, the engine kind of renders. I presume it's to do with, like, its lighting. But you have, like, melees involving Chaos Marines and regular Marines, and I think because there's not that much detail on the models, even with, like, the fancy armor that you have to buy with microtransactions, which that in itself is a big fuck you.
Yeah, but that's, again, that could be a publisher thing.
Oh, probably.
I'm giving Behavior Interactive the benefit of the doubt, something fierce.
Yeah. But what I was saying was, yeah, even with the added aesthetic things to make the characters look more interesting, they look so similar, and under a lot of the lighting in the game, everything is kind of, like, washed out. And so there's a huge there's a huge melee fight in your close quarters. Sometimes it can take, like, way too long to actually register who's a good guy and who's a bad guy, even with the things floating above their head. Because I do feel that even though it's not the most aesthetically pleasing thing, but something like, say, what Overwatch does, where everything has an outline around it of the
like
colour.
a little red glow. I think that would really solve a lot of problems, because I mean the health bars above the baddies and the goodies, it's like it's too hectic. It is too much data to take in.
I think
it makes you pause for too long, especially coupled with friendly fire.
Yeah, and I mean I think also, especially considering that the game is not very well optimized at this point, and it does suffer from latency issues. And this isn't just an us thing like, oh, our internet connection is shit, because it is, but it's fine. It's fine for playing games. We've never had a lag problem before, but like we were getting really high latency playing it, and apparently there are some people who the game is basically unplayable due to it. It just seems to be an issue with the game. So
just optimization issues, yeah.
And with all those on top of these readability issues means that like and with friendly fire you honestly get like it means that you hold back fire a lot of times,
which means you're fucking dead basically,
which is not shooting when you could have shot, even if it means potentially hitting someone on your side, is the most un-40k thing possible. You're supposed to shoot into a firefight with your friends. That's 40k. I know that. Well, I do know that in the rules for the board game you can't shoot into melee. I do know that. But
no, like, it's like that guy pointed out, like, yeah, Iron Warriors, like, you're healing people? What the fuck? It's like, yeah, okay, we get that. Do you want a video game or not?
Yeah.
It is fun to, like, poke holes, and that's absolutely correct, and lol.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, I can see it being the game that if it runs fine on your machine, you don't have the latency problems.
You grab a couple of mates.
I can totally see you having fun with it, because there is a big scale to it. I mean, I do wish it had more in it, more classes, more vehicles, especially because
there's only like two. Like two like Space Marine vehicles, I think.
I think there's like two or three for each faction.
Yeah, but it's just.
But like for the Marines, I think they're all Rhino variants. So I think there's a Predator, a Rhino, and I think the other one's a Razorback. Although I realised I didn't actually look at it when we were playing.
Then you're not allowed to have any opinions on this game. Sorry,
but they could have so much more in that. Like you could have land speeders, or you could have
Storm
Ravens.
I was honestly hoping for a land speeder. Just because that would be fun.
Or even bikes, like, that could be fun.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many little things you could do, and maybe they are going to address that in the future. But I think the big problem is that though I had sympathy for the devs for it being, if indeed the rumor is true and it has been released long before they wanted it to, unfortunately, because it has been released now, it's basically irrelevant. Because it is a product at the end of the day, and it's asking for money for something that is not worth it, and because it's not worth it now that it's been properly released, it means that it really doesn't matter if in a year it's a fantastic game, because it's missed its chance.
It's missed its opportunity.
It's missed its opportunity.
Well,
to
no,
have
I would say it's been robbed of its opportunity.
It has been robbed of its opportunity to have a good and healthy user base, because so many people will have bought it and, like us, been turned off by it, by just it not being, it not feeling like a finished game, and then they're not going to go back to it, because it's one of the big problems with early access in general, of that your first impression on something is so important, and if you fuck that up, which early access has a huge chance of doing.
Look at that new Carmageddon game they brought out.
Oh yeah,
the alpha they released was fucking shocking.
Was it? What was it called? Was it Reincarnated or something?
I can't remember what it was called, but I remember seeing. I can't remember. It was like a gameplay video on YouTube, and I'm just looking at that, going, "That is fucking unforgivably unfair." It's like, I appreciate this is an alpha, but. And it was an alpha.
Oh,
like,
it really
when
was.
you look at something and it goes, "Oh, this is a beta," and you go, "No, that's an alpha."
It's not like when they do betas on console, and you're like, "That is not a beta, man," because it fucking works.
Yeah, basically. But this was properly alpha.
Yeah.
Like
dev textures,
and it bits just missing, and you're like, this is something the public should never see, and the fact that you're asking for money for it is fucking deeply troubling to me.
Yeah, I mean, it fits into...
Don't start this shit off. And, and then we have the whole fucking people getting angry because early access is like Darkest Dungeon had a big problem with that, where people were playing it in early access and saying, "This game is fucking fantastic." YouTubers were going, "This is amazing, play the game, it's fucking great." And then people got it and people enjoyed it, and then they changed it. And they fucking broke it. Because I remember that's when we were thinking about buying it.
Yeah.
And everyone was fucking furious.
They
everyone was
did
like,
shit,
I'm going to fucking, report you. You can't. You can't do that because it's early access.
Yeah.
They could have changed that to become a racing game. And you've already bought it.
Yeah.
That's why you should be fucking aware of early access games.
Yeah, that's the risk of it.
Careful.
Because, I mean, in a case like Eternal Crusade, I think... It's awkward because you do sit there and go, there's so many games that if it wasn't for early access wouldn't have the funds to get made.
It's a really awkward balance. That's the thing. It's like, because I'm sitting here going, be fucking careful. But there are the occasional games out there that are worth it. Well, Minecraft did fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I'd say Minecraft is to blame for the entire
It's definitely to blame, but it also did very well with early access.
But I think that was because that was a completely functional, fun game in early access,
and it just felt like every update bringing new things in was just that. Just, hey guys, we've added more stuff, have fun.
But that game, is what became so big. But it was before we really even had the word for early access. But Minecraft was early access, and it worked for them. And I think it's just a lot of games it doesn't really work for. And with something like Eternal Crusade, I mean, it's an awkward one because it probably wouldn't get made without it. But the environment of early access that it has been developed in has basically ensured that it can never really live up to its full potential.
Yeah.
I mean, I do dearly hope that in a year or so, when the devs actually feel like the game is finished, if of course the whole rumor of it being released earlier than they intended is true.
I'm gonna assume it is because it really feels like it is.
Oh yeah. But if that is true, then I hope they do get it to the point that they consider it finished, and then I'd like to see it again, and then I can feel like, my judgments can be a little more final, because that's the problem with things constantly changing. It's hard to sit there and say this is shit because it could be not shit next week.
Yeah.
Which provides it is a problem for critique of these kind of games that are in constant flux.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can review an early access game, but that's going to be worthless.
Yeah.
For the most part. But yeah, I really, the problem with Eternal Crusade is I'm bummed out because I can see the potential there.
Yeah, you can see the game you want to play.
I can see the game I want to play, and it's just not there yet. And that really breaks my heart. Because I want to play this game. I want to be running around as a Chaos Dude or a big fucking Dogly Elder. That's what I want to do. And it sucks that it's just shy of it. There's just too many little niggles there.
Yeah. That's the thing. If you really enjoy something, you can overlook flaws to a point.
Yeah.
But this is long past that point.
I mean, like you say, I am going to, keep an eye on it.
Oh, certainly.
And hopefully, because they'll still be updating, I hope. And maybe in a year, it'll actually, like you say, be where the devs are comfortable with it. And now I will play it again, and hopefully it'll be good. And
hopefully they'll also they'll also be able to. I think what they need to do is once they've got it to a point like that, they need to do a few free weekends or something
to really kind of warm the community back up to it.
And to entice people to try it, because I think that's going to be the big problem for the game is getting the people that have been burned to come back, because you just have to look at the Steam community reviews for it, and so many people just feel so betrayed by it that they don't want to give it a chance. And
it's a fucking shame. Is what it is.
And conversely, there's a lot of people who are basically going, "Oh no, it's still good. It's still good. I mean, I know it's not well optimized, and I know it's not very fun right now, but it will be fun one day." And neither side of that argument is particularly helpful.
I mean, there are people who do enjoy it as is, good on you. I'm glad for you. I'm glad that you're able to enjoy it, but I have trouble because I'm a critical-minded bastard and I can't enjoy anything.
Also, it's hard to enjoy something when its frame rate's all over the fucking shop.
Yeah, to be a bit more picky. 60, please. But no, I'm really hoping that they fix that up because I really, really do want that game to be what it should be.
So, what award shall we give it?
We'll try again in a year and hopefully it'll run better award.
This game has been fully released. I can't wait till it's finished award.
That's a better one. Yeah, let's go with that one.
The Arkham Knight award.
Oh, okay, it's not that bad.
No.
But you take that. You apologize to Behavior Interactive. That was mean. Dang.
So yeah, I mean that's all the games that we play. Because we obviously there's a lot of big games that we've not played this year.
Yeah.
We missed out on Dishonored 2 and Mankind Divided, Titanfall 2, various ones.
Other things, because we're terrible people, and we never keep up with things.
Well, obviously we're not fully fledged professionals at this.
No.
We can't afford to buy everything, and a lot of these were very, very generously gifted to us by viewers, by you guys, and we're very, very grateful for that. And you're one of the main reasons why we've been able to play so many new games this year and actually be able to have an opinion about a lot of new stuff.
So thanks for that.
So yeah, thank you very, very much. I guess if we what we could do is. If we were to say pick a game of the year from what we have played, what would you say yours would be?
Mine?
Yeah. You could.
Can I pick two?
I'd say you can mention one, but you kind of got to give it to one. And how you personally attribute that is up to you.
Oh yeah, it's okay. It's going to be my subjective opinion that this game is objectively perfect.
Okay.
That I'm sure a lot of people are going to have a go at me for. My runner-up, very close second, Dark Souls 3.
Okay.
And my game of the year is Doom 4. I could hear the sharp intake of breath, of genuine shock and awe, as I said that. No, people. This is real life. I've named Doom 4 as my personal game of the year.
Yeah, no, I can totally get that.
It's me personally as a gamer. I mean, I grew up with my first machine was a ColecoVision with a PC peripheral. That shows you how fucking old I am, for starters. We got a desktop PC, played all the crappy platformers, which there were numerous, and then
PC platforms back then were fucking shite.
Honest to God, they were fucking terrible. Consoles were where it was at.
Yeah.
So we played Wolfenstein 3D. That blew my fucking mind as a little girl. I can't even remember how old I was when that came out.
So 92, 93?
Yeah, so I was about 6 years old.
Mm.
And I was like, whoa, this is hyper realistic. Because you did in those days. And my favorite memories are of Doom and Doom 2. Just playing that. Those fucking games. Because as much as Wolfenstein 3D blew my fucking mind, Doom and Doom 2 were fucking awe-inspiring. Those games scared me as a kid. Because, they did. They were fucking... This is even more hyper-realistic than the last game I played with the blue walls and the giant weird Nazis. And it was fucking astounding. And I loved that game. And that game was my fucking life. And my brother and I used to play LAN when he was like 5 years old of it. And it was perfect. And then all the games that came off that, like fucking... They had Doom, Shadow Warrior, Duke Nukem, like everything coming off the build engine, like Blood, massive favourite of mine. You've probably heard me talk about that before. And just FPSs are my fucking jam. That's my jam. And to play a Doom game that's basically grown up, like I grew up with Doom, and to play an adult Doom of my age, it feels like it's like seeing an old friend and feeling like no time has passed.
Yeah, I can totally understand that.
So it's not entirely because of the game being amazing. It's a lot of my nostalgia and just having really happy memories of Doom and just really loving the game.
I guess it probably helps that I think at long last they finally accepted that what people really, really wanted was not to play Doom Guy in a game. They want to play Doom Guy from the Doom comic in a game.
That's what we've always fucking wanted.
Which is why it even says rip and tear in the fucking intro. Because they know what people wanted.
Yeah, that and just so many perfect things.
Like, no, I would totally agree that is a phenomenal game. Though it wouldn't be my game of the year.
That's fair enough.
But I think that is totally acceptable. And a totally understandable one.
Okay, and what would you say yours is? I bet you're going to surprise everyone with what's under your blanket.
Oh, honestly, though I would love to say Dark Souls 3, but it is an iteration on a game that I've effectively played multiple times because it's I still think it's a fantastic game, but
thoroughly, yeah.
But I feel it's treading the same ground as its previous things. A little too much to give it like the number one spot. For me, honestly, it would be Overwatch.
Shit, yeah, I forgot about Overwatch. But yeah, Overwatch is, I'd say, like, I have a double tie for second, which is Dark Souls 3 and Overwatch. Because I have poured so many fucking hours into Overwatch, I've even surprised myself.
And that's probably not a surprise to anyone who is listening to this. So I won't go on about it, but yeah, I guess it's, for me, even though I would sit there and go as an actual piece of artistry, of like telling a narrative or whatever, like both Doom and Dark Souls 3 both do a better job than that. But if I'm honest, the game that I keep coming back to, the game that I keep playing, that I keep putting my time into, is The Binding of Isaac Rebirth. But since that didn't come out this year, Overwatch is a close second.
Okay. So Overwatch is your game of the year.
Yeah. It is the game that I would say defines my gaming this year.
I think it's been a really nice chill out game. It's kind of like Doom, really quite hectic. Love it. Hectic. Overwatch is good for a chill out. And, screaming at the Hanzo player.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
It's literally always their fucking fault.
So, yeah, I mean, overall, I think that even with our not complete overview of games this year, I think it's been a pretty good year for games, and that's sort of made, it hasn't made up for the fact that 2016's been utter garbage.
Oh, hot garbage from planet bullshit. Yeah,
but it has made things a little easier, being able to play, to not worry quite so much about every game being awful, and to have a nice back catalogue of games to keep going back to. Because I can see a lot of games, there's a handful of games that have come out this year that I can see being those sort of games that I will go back to in years to come and play through again. So I'm I'm happy with this year in gaming anyway.
In gaming, I'm happy with this year. In gaming only.
In gaming only.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess we should probably start wrapping up.
I suppose so.
Next time, hopefully, Drummer Matt will be back
From the vets.
Yeah, from the vets. Although he will not be on our couch.
No, he's stolen our couch and he's taking it to France.
Yeah,
bastard.
Yeah, he will probably be in France
because he's going away for a few years to France because his lovely girlfriend has gotten a job over there.
So yeah, but he should be back on the podcast. Then I'm not sure if he'll be up and ready for the next podcast, but hopefully it will be.
Yeah,
and that'll be nice. Because doing it with just the two of us again is slightly horrifying.
It's horrible, and I'm sure you guys fucking hate it as much as we do, because I hate this person. Who is he?
I don't know who I am.
Oh.
I don't know myself.
He literally won't let me sit there and talk about Overwatch all day. I just don't want to be near this man.
That's the person. You're saying about a person that's literally just named Overwatch as his game of the year.
Yeah, you bastard.
Although
I feel really bad because I was like looking at the list going, yeah, Dark Souls was fucking fantastic. Doom, completely missed Overwatch, and I feel really bad like I've neglected my sweet summer child.
This game that we've spent literally hours on podcast talking about.
Yeah.
I don't think Overwatch is going to feel bad.
Well,
although it should be mentioned, even though I do say like game of the year for me. The microtransactions in Overwatch can go fuck themselves, especially around the summer games where that was bullshit, and I totally understand if people were so soured on the game by that shit that they hate it. Totally understand.
Oh yeah, that was completely and utterly relevant, and if you still hate it because of that, that is also very fair.
Yeah.
Or if you hate it because they haven't removed that annoying bug Hanzo.
The fact he's in it.
Yeah.
One day someone is going to take your constant hatred of Hanzo as being an actual real major thing.
I've already got a couple of things on Tumblr. So, but hey, if you're husbando, you like the guy, you're wrong, but okay. That sounds fake, but okay.
Well, on that familiar note.
Yes.
It would probably get off.
We should probably get off and let everyone enjoy their holiday season.
Yes. I hope everyone had a good Christmas day, if you do celebrate Christmas.
If not, I hope you just had a nice time.
Yeah, I hope you had a good 25th, or whatever you happen to celebrate around this time of year. I hope you have a good one.
And a Happy New Year. And hopefully 2017... will just be 2016 again, because this year should be wiped from the fucking record. It's terrible.
Yeah, we should just pretend that...
Keep all the games released.
Yeah.
Just do 2016 again.
Yeah, we'll start the calendars back at 2016, try it again, and hopefully, we won't make such a hasher at this time.
Yeah, it'll probably be fine. So from us, and probably Drummer Matt, we don't know, he probably doesn't like you guys, because, well, not like we do. Because he's too busy eating clumps of my hair and dental floss to care about the listeners.
Oh yeah.
Because he's a terrible, terrible person who throws children under buses and stuff.
He does. I've seen him do it.
I saw him do it twice.
Like the other day. This was before the bin incident.
Oh yeah, before he went to the vets.
Yeah, before he went to the vets. I saw him. He was out in the street, and he was.
Was he doing that thing where he was on his hands and knees, crawling around and just barking at people? No.
That was the day before.
Okay.
The day before I was doing that.
My mistake.
No. He was. I was walking to the shops, and he wasn't on the couch. So I assumed. I assumed he'd I don't know. He was rifling through someone else's bins or something. Because he does it.
Yeah.
But I was walking past the school, and I saw him just outside the school. And what he was doing was he was standing there with a large sign that was saying, "Peter, I know your secret. Your mother doesn't love you." And he was just standing there holding this sign. And then I was sitting there, and I observed for a while because I wanted to know what was going on. And I was just watching, and then every now and again a child would walk out and would just burst into tears.
Oh, that's dreadful.
And then I'd watch him pull a Sharpie out of his pocket and on the back of the sign, add another little mark. There was 15 marks he'd got on there. He just destroyed 15 children's lives. And afterwards I said, "What the fuck were you doing?" And he was like, "It's an afternoon, isn't it?"
That sounds so much like Drummer Matt.
I know.
I'm mortified on everyone's behalf, quite frankly.
I mean, it wouldn't have been so bad if he was wearing trousers, but, you know...
That would probably be the thing that would make them cry first.
But... I mean, that's usually the problem with most of the stories about him, of that they would be bad on their own, but it's the lack of trousers in public that just... it escalates the situation. I mean, he's wearing pants, thank God. Because no one needs to see his little dingle-dangle wobbling around.
Honestly, it reminds me of the other day, before the bin incident.
Yeah.
So I went out shopping, as I am wont to do. And I went to Tesco, because I thought, fuck it, I'm feeling fancy, I'll go buy a roast chicken. So I walk in there, and there's there's Maureen from down the road, shimmying along. I'm like, hello, Maureen. And I approach the butcher's aisle, yeah?
Yeah.
And there is a crowd.
He's not doing the thing with the chickens up his arse again, is he?
Oh, he's got a new thing.
Oh. So
I'm like, oh no, what's this disturbance? So I try to peer over people's heads, can't see it, so I've got to kind of barge in. Because I gotta know, I don't know, I just had this primal feeling that I needed to see. I needed to witness this.
It was an important point in history that needed to be witnessed.
No, I think I intrinsically knew that a friend of mine was doing something horrifying and I needed to, get them out of there before the police got there.
Okay, yeah.
So I pushed my way through, and there's women, there's children, there's men, there's all staring there, open mouthed, at Drummer Map, right? You know the cute little glass counters they've got where they show you all the food?
Yeah.
He'd taken his trousers off, basted his butthole, put his legs behind his head, and smushed himself, butt first, up against the glass.
I know, the emotion is overcoming you right now. I know, it's too much.
The world must know. And he was just screeching at the top of his lungs over this counter at all these people. Barbecue chicken, you twats. I was mortified.
Yeah?
Honest to God, I was like... I literally left... I thought he was still at home, asleep on the couch.
Yeah.
I had to drag him out there with his barbecue basiled butt squeaking all on the floor as I dragged him.
Yeah, because he won't ever... when you get into a situation like that, he just goes limp.
You grab his arm and he just fucking dead weights on you. And you're like, dude, fucking... And he just pretends he's dead. I think he thinks that you think he's actually dead. Maybe that's why he plays dead. I don't know.
Maybe.
But for whatever reason, it's really fucking hard to get him out of these situations because he just goes limp on you.
And he's a lot heavier than you think.
Fucking yeah! It's all those rocks he carries around.
Yeah, he does carry those rocks, and you try and take them away from him, and he just kind of hisses at you. So you
can't relinquish the rocks.
So you just it's one of those, you go, I'm going to fight the battles where it involves public indecency, but the rocks, look, you can keep them, except for when he starts throwing them at old people, because that's you have to try and put a stop to that. But
but one step at a time. Right?
You can only do so much for him.
Yeah. Happy holidays, everyone, and a happy new year.